Peace and blessings, my beautiful spirit beings. Welcome to Spiritual Healing once more. Again, I go by the name of Yogi Drawback. Yes, as you have requested, I am going to give a little summary about my life and how I came into this spiritual journey. And I'm still on the journey. I'm not yet on the destiny. But from my childhood, I've always had questions about religion, questions about spirituality, and questions about who is God and how did God came into being. And as a young man, you would ask such questions, like ask your moms and your pops and all that. But these are very, very, very difficult questions for our parents, because them too, they never asked such questions before. So they've been told that you are not allowed to ask such questions about who is God, where does God come from, how did he come to being, So it was blasphemous to ask such questions, and we were not allowed to do that, because when you ask such questions, to them it appears as if you've been possessed by some evil spirit. And it was hard for me, because I used to ask myself these questions, and I was like, man, who's gonna tell me the answers to these questions? Anyway, it was that kind of a challenge for me, but I grew up, and yes, I came into this being that you see right now before the camera. I had these questions, and they used to trouble me, and for some time I used to think that we are not in the real world. Like when I was young, I used to think that maybe there's a dream, I'm dreaming, and that kind of a thing, and it used to trouble me too. And then I grew up, and the music fever came along, and the music energy started growing up in me, and I would listen to hip-hop. Hip-hop music was my kind of jam. When people were listening to all the house music, the rock music, I was into hip-hop. Yes, I used to love a little bit of rock music and house, but hip-hop was there. But what caught me the most was the conscious hip-hop. Rappers like Talib Kweli, rappers like Mos Def, rappers like Common, KRS-One, those were the rappers that used to connect with my soul, that used to catch my energy, that resonated with me. And when I started listening to that kind of music, my mind blew up. When I started listening to this music, like this conscious rap music, it made my mind to start working. I would question a lot of things about the government, the food that we eat, the clothes that we wear, the Bible, and so forth. So I had a friend of mine, he used to go by the name Venomous Lips. I don't know if he still calls himself that, but he came to me and he recognized that consciousness within me, the dreadlocks, the turbans. Sometimes he would hear me playing those KRS-One music, playing those Common, and sometimes would play Neo Soul like Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, India Arie, and he knew that this guy, I think he can connect with me. I don't know how he came into this conscious life, but he introduced me more into the spiritual side of it. And I remember when we used to read the Bible, we would go into the book of Revelations, and we read about the 666, the beast, the coming of the Christ consciousness as we know it right now. So I went through that and I got deeper into it, and I found some information about the SC Nazarene. And you know, the Nazarite vow, I found that there's a Nazarite vow in the Bible, and I asked myself, what is this Nazarite vow? And when I went deeper into the internet, I found out that the Nazarenes were people who didn't eat meat, people with long hair like dreadlocks, and some information made me think that maybe Yeshua or Jesus, as a lot of people call him, could be that he was a Nazarene too. Yes, and not a Nazarene in a way that because he was from Nazareth. No, he was a Nazarene as a vow he took, a special vow, a special commitment to himself. Yeshua, Jesus, when I read his stories and his teachings, he sounded more to me like a hippie, you know, because he was a bit different from how you would read in the Bible, how the Jews, the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and all of those people in the Bible, how they viewed the Bible, how they had a view about God, how they had a view about spiritual life. But Yeshua was a bit different from them. The way he preached, the way he taught, the way he was not so attached to the laws or the church building or even the clothes, the way he was so considerate, so compassionate. And I was like, you know, this guy is so different to me, and I resonated with that. But when I went to the church, they were preaching something different to me, so I had to go outside and research. But there was something that told me that I need more. I need something that can really connect with my soul, that can really free me from what is it that I'm feeling inside.